Good Thursday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Chris Harabsky. New this afternoon, Vance Belter pleading guilty to stalking and murdering Minnesota Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, her husband Mark, and attempting to murder State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. As part of this plea deal, Belter is pleading guilty to 6 federal counts. And in court today, Belter admitted to stalking Hortman and Hoffman for months and carrying out those murders. The recommended sentence for this case is 2 consecutive life sentences plus 40 years in prison. Belter will be sentenced at a later date. The change in plea comes just days after the federal government revealed that it would not seek the death penalty if Belter agreed to this plea deal.
The murders of Speaker of the House Melissa Hortman and Mark Hortman, shooting of Senator John Hoffman and Yvette Hoffman, and the attempted shooting of Hope Hoffman are among the worst political violence crimes that we have seen. That this case, as charged, was certainly death penalty eligible, and we would have prevailed in that ultimately in the courts. But the truth is, when you have a defendant that is prepared to plead guilty, take consecutive life terms plus, to ensure that he never sees freedom again in his entire life, that was an opportunity that we just could not pass up.
Also breaking right now, a new statement that we just got from Senator John Hoffman that said, quote, in part, "There is no justice for Melissa and Mark Hortman, and there is not justice when our family in our state will never truly heal." Goes on to say, "The choice we have made to go forward with public service and being present for our community," end quote. Belter still charged in Minnesota on state charges with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted murder, felony animal cruelty, and impersonating a police officer. This weekend, the St. Paul City Council is honoring Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her family nearly a year after they were killed. The council unanimously passed a resolution yesterday to make Sunday Mark, Melissa, and Gilbert Hortman Day in the state's capital, honoring the late speaker's decades of leadership and her family's impact on the community. City leaders and state lawmakers shared memories of working with Hortman, including Mayor Kelly Herr, a former state representative who said Hortman made big changes at the Capitol to help legislative staff. Concessions workers at Target Field are ready to walk off the job. Their union announcing today they will begin a strike June 22nd. Last month, 81% of the workers voted to authorize a strike if necessary. The nearly 500-person unit is represented by United Local 17. They're demanding a new contract. They're demanding fair wages, affordable health care, and job protections. Right now, in the Middle East, concerns over an all-out war are growing as the U.S. and Iran trade a new round of attacks for the second day. Iran says the latest round of attacks violate a ceasefire signed back in April by Iran and the U.S., meaningless. President Trump not backing down, telling Fox News this morning that unless Iran agrees to a deal, the attacks will keep happening. For the 3rd straight month, inflation is up. The newest report from the Labor Bureau shows us where it's hitting hardest. Right now, prices on everything are up 4.2% in May versus the same time last year. In the Twin Cities, prices climbed even more. Kent Erdahl to break things down.
Fuel oil is now up 60%, and gas is up more than 40%. Even electricity is up about 6% from a year ago. That also means higher costs to transport goods, leading to higher prices at the grocery store. Meat prices are up more than 7%, with fruits and veggies and non-alcoholic drinks right behind. The only bright spot is eggs, which are down 35%. Though keep in mind there were record prices last year due to losses from the bird flu, and now there's an oversupply. Of course, the cost of a summer getaway is impacted. Airfares are up nearly 27%, and while used cars and insurance are a little cheaper, drivers have to contend with higher gas prices and a more than 6% increase in maintenance and repair costs. And now, services that are more immune to energy prices, like healthcare, personal care, and rent, are creeping up too. But when asked about it today, President Trump was unfazed, calling the numbers great.
I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran until right now. When the war is over, yes, it's coming down.
I know you can't.
It's going to come down like a rock.
Unfortunately, the empirical evidence suggests and the theory suggests that that is not going to happen.
Professor Akshay Rao says history shows even when prices shoot up like a rocket, they almost always come down slowly, like a feather.
When there is a shock to the system, the expectation is I'm going to have to replace my inventory at a higher price, so I've got to raise price now. And when the shock dissipates, now my existing inventory is valued at a high price, and I need to recover that before I can start dropping prices, as well as the fact that consumers are now used to paying higher prices.
Kent Erdahl reporting there. Today, the Minneapolis City Council has denied a plan to redevelop George Floyd Square. Minneapolis Agape Movement had proposed a plan for the old gas station at 38th in Chicago. The group says that they wanted to build a 6-story building with a museum and a cafe. That was the mayor's choice for the area. But some council members say it wasn't the plan that they nor the community agreed to. It has been more than a year since the Minneapolis City Council voted to permanently close the trash incinerator known as the HERC in the North Loop. Now, activists are raising a new concern as the closure process continues. Nasira Kelvy has the latest.
It poses a huge threat, potentially, to our natural resources.
Leslie Mint and her organization, the Zero Burn Coalition, are ringing the alarm about the Hennepin Energy Recovery Center, or HERC.
It was a letter notifying Hennepin County that they have been negligent in addressing the toxic ash that results from HERC's operations.
More than a year after Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey signed a resolution pushing the county to close the facility, Mint's group is getting ready to take the county to court.
And ash is a particularly toxic form of material. So in 10 days, the Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy will file a lawsuit against Hennepin County.
The Minneapolis City Council approved a plan to shut down HERC at the end of 2024, but according to Mint, the process has stalled.
Their plan actually states that they have to set a date, and that date is voted on by the county board. They have refused to take that vote.
Hennepin County disputes those allegations. In a statement, county officials say the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency approved the county's updated solid waste management plan at the end of 2024 and says HERC ash is tested every quarter under state-required protocol. According to the county, those tests consistently show the ash is classified as non-hazardous waste. Officials also say burning waste at HERC reduces material headed to landfills by roughly 80% by weight and 90% by volume. The remaining ash is transported to a landfill in Rosemount, where metals, including copper, are recovered from the material. But Mint says those measures don't address what she views as the core problem.
Given that ash is so toxic, there should be less of it, and ideally there should be none of it. And so the only solution to create no ash is to stop burning at the HERC.
Chris, Hennepin County did push back on the claim that the closure of the HERC has stalled, saying they're still on track to meet their goal of closing down the facility by 2028 to 2040. You can head over to Kare11.com for more information.
Thanks a lot, Naz. Business owners on Eat Street are asking for your help tonight. Not only are they still recovering from the pandemic, but the hours-long standoff that happened this week was not far from where Alex Preddy was shot and killed by federal agents back in January. Sammy Selena heard from owners in that area about their concerns.
The story of Eat Street is one that Tammy Wong is especially fond of.
Egg roll. They love egg roll. They just want to come here and eat egg roll.
She owns Rainbow Chinese and has been here for 4 decades.
Nobody want to come to the neighborhood years and years ago.
She's watched the corridor evolve.
I go to Mehung, I will go to the Greek restaurant or the German, right? Where else can you go that you could get so much of the classic dishes that here on East Street?
Yesterday, she was in the middle of setting up for her 39th anniversary party.
I'm really grateful and thankful that everyone was safe yesterday.
But their latest chapter hasn't been an easy read.
I want to make sure that everyone is safe.
Yesterday, police say a man fired at officers from the building next to Rainbow. Tammy ran to alert neighbors while those inside Rainbow were evacuated.
I think we need support from, customers throughout all the metro area and the state. They want to come here.
Ricardo Hernandez Espinoza was at a haircut appointment at My Hua Salon, right below the apartment where the suspect was.
Some people with foil in their heads. They were in another room in the back, so they all had to come out.
We feel worried. We don't know, we're concerned about moving out the area, or should we stay here?
Kim Huynh is the owner. She's thankful customers came today to support her.
To shouldn't happen, and then we had to close the shop for a while and then open back, and then it's happened again.
Just 6 months ago, Alex Pretty was killed by federal agents about 2 blocks away. Kim says business took a hit.
I really love this area. It was like all the good food around, our Asian people, and then I love here.
I make the black bean sauce.
Tammy's staff, who couldn't be evacuated, spent the afternoon making sure officers had food and water while they monitored the suspect next door.
I want to make sure that they are taken care of.
She says businesses here have given a lot to the community, and they need support to stay.
I think that loss will be huge to the community.
She hopes their stories aren't defined by tragedy.
Even for like a chef's day off, that they would want to come to East Street to eat.
But by all the beauty she finds here.
So we continue to need that support for all of us.
Sammy Solina, Kare 11 News.
Stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.